Welcome back, guys, to another video with Fab, live every day except Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central Time. So, as you guys can see, this is something a little different that I normally don't do on this channel. We are doing a big, massive build. I kind of give myself a 10-hour time limit on this to see how good and how fast and how big I can build, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think there's some things I would have liked to change, and maybe we'll change it down the road, but as of right now, I figured it would a good starting point. My inspiration from this was seeing a lot of videos from Trixie Blocks, Jarecraft, and knowing that I can build just like them, I figured, you know what, let's give it a go, let's give it a shot. I don't know how long they spend on those videos, but I know I wanted to give myself a time limit for the first time and see what I can accomplish. So as you saw the towers up front, I actually made some tower time lapse there, and I kind of lost it. The video didn't record properly and they got corrupted. Totally skipping that part, but besides that, we started to work on this house here. I ended up not liking the total design for the blocks I used, kind of swapped it, and I'm still kind of iffy on this building, but overall it turned out alright. The inspiration for this was I kind of asked people in the Discord what they thought I should make, and a lot of it was like castle, like gothic kind of stuff. So I was kind of thinking, like, how could I put a twist on this? And I was playing some Minecraft dungeons, and I was fighting some pillagers, and I was like, you know what? The pillagers do not get enough in this game, so let's go ahead and make a little base for these pillagers, somewhere that they can kind of train, get armored up, and get ready to pillage some of these guys. So this is kind of what I came up with, just the basalt, the stone bricks, the dark oak, kind of went with that look. And then I'm using a lot of blocks that I don't really think get used enough. So the first couple hours, I pretty much just kind of started setting a foundation or a beginning steps and trying to figure out what the template was going to be, what the inspiration was going to look like, and how the theme was going to pan out. So I found this fountain design online. Obviously it wasn't the same blocks, but I went ahead and swapped them out with like the lodestone and the polished blackstone, I think it is. And originally I thought the spiral didn't get closed up enough or didn't constrict tight enough, so I wanted to tighten it up a little bit towards the top. I saw that like I had this retaining wall here, but I figured it'd be kind of cool design if we kind of brought it down all the way and kind of give it like a tower support that made it look like all the weight of this hill that was dug out was kind of resting on these pillars. And then on top of that, you know, we have these watchtowers up here for these pillager guys to make sure nobody comes and attacks. We need to have somewhere so they can sleep and rest up, and then that way the next guy can get out there and do some work. And then I just had to kind of connect the bridge or the original steps up to the first tower to the main area. And then we had to kind of give these pillagers somewhere to eat or a food source, because obviously pillagers are going to be going out pillaging your farms, taking your food from you, but they need some food of their own, right? They can't rely on pillaging 100% of the time. They need to get their own source of food. So I kind of came up with this little design here. I was happy with it, but again, I was not happy with the color choices I chose or the block type, so I ended up changing that again down later, as you'll see. But we gave them a nice little farm there, and we just kind of continued on. I had to come back to this area because I kept looking at while I was working on the farm, looking at this wall over here, and I kept seeing that design. I was so in love with it, I had to put it in more places. I had to be like, alright, how can we keep this design and like kind of like flush it out more? So I went ahead and put the two parts together, pretty much copied and pasted them, and then put them up against the wall to kind of really give a nice like underground or like broken out dwarven feel. I was originally going with like, you know, the pillager feel, but then it started feeling more like dwarven. I think it's just because I was incorporating so much of this hillside and having these big pillars coming out the sides of them. So then I wanted to kind of think about a tower or a castle design. I was starting to lean a little too much into dwarven instead of pillager, so I went ahead and made this tower design thinking I was going to make like a castle or something, like a nice gothic dark castle, and I ended up changing my mind. I was like, you know what, I think we do need to go more dwarven. I think I need to kind of make a big temple entrance right on the side of this mountain. So I went ahead and made these big pillar so I could kind of copy it across the whole way of the gap that I had there and just make a big temple for the Arch-Illager. Because again, going back to Minecraft Dungeons, I was thinking about like what kind of lore can I put into this, and that was kind of what's coming up to me is, you know, the Illagers, or the Pillagers, sorry. The Pillagers don't get enough credit, and then on top of that, I think they kind of worship the arch Pillager, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a Minecraft lore expert, but regardless, I wanted to kind of go with the theme. Just bear with me here. So I've started to really like this top or the roof for this build. I was having a hard time initiating in my head what the look was going to be, but overall I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I think I could have probably pushed it a little bit more into the wall than I did initially. I think it's a little too far out, and if we ever come back to this, that is something we might address. We might try to push it in more. So the wall design, I was having such a hard time with this. I was changing blocks left and right. One thing or one tip I always can give is always give yourself enough room to go 3, 4, 5 blocks deep, or even come up 4 or 5 blocks. That's the thing, a lot of people cut themselves short. They give themselves only so much space, and then because of that, they can't build bigger or grander or give it as much detail as they want. As you can see here, I was struggling really hard of kind of coming up with the design. I did pretty much just mirror it left to right, with the center being the gold pillars there. And I ended up being happy with it. Granted, after I put the roof completely on, it was kind of hard to see, so we ended up lighting it up more. But overall, I was very happy with it. So I just took that design, copied it off to the other side. However, I need to finish it off a little bit more. I thought the stone was just a little bit too clashy by itself. I think we need to accent it with the lovely polished stone bricks. Man, all these names is kind of hard to keep on track of. And then we just, like I said, we copy it to one side to the other, and then after I pasted it, I just spent some time and tried to figure out what the next plan of action was. After a little bit of time, this is where we brought the roof all the way back, and then I was like, ooh, it's gonna be dark in here. It's gonna be really too dark. So we went ahead and put some glowstone in there, and then I started to put some archways up here, and then I realized, you know what, this is still not bright enough. Let's kind of enhance the brightness some more and give it a nice little trim around the pillars to kind of connect it together and make it feel more natural in a way. It was still too dark, so we went ahead and doubled down even on the whole glowstone, but I was very happy with the design of this. So now that we spent a lot of time of my time allotment on this big build, I decided I needed to build a bunch of small buildings to kind of fill out this area that I can kind of copy, replicate, and make slight changes to it to really give each one its own feel, but still have overall aesthetic be the same. So initially I wasn't too happy with the roof height. I thought it was too high, it didn't feel natural, so I brought it down a little bit. And then I just kind of did a little design work on the side, nothing too crazy. Like I said, I gave myself a 10-hour time limit on this, so I really wanted to grind it out and be as fast and efficient as possible. So I did get rid of that little hut there I had. I was not happy with the design of it. It was actually a copy of the top of the tower design that we have over there at the lookout towers, so I wasn't happy with that. We get rid of that. We actually did take the top of like the castle tower that I was initially made and connected to like a little church house and kind of give it a nice little look. And that's one thing that I always tried to emphasize on, is when you build something and you're looking for an overall feel, try just making some adjustments to that first building you made and continuing it, because then you can really use a lot of the same ideas and design to really fill out a base area. Like for instance, that first initial house or second initial, I think it was, house there, we actually took the bottom part of the tower, castle tower design that we had, and we put it on there. And then here we're just basically making some trees, made a couple custom trees, pasted in them around to just kind of fill them out, because I felt like having too many of the same buildings, let's say, felt unnatural. We need to kind of liven up the area a little bit. Which led us back into the farmhouse. I wasn't too happy with the palette. As I stated earlier in the video, it was, I don't know, the dark oak was just kind of clashing with everything that I was doing. So I kind of changed it to match the theme that I had going on with the rest of the build, which was the dark oak. I mean, not the dark oak, the black polished stone bricks and the stone bricks. And made some little other small houses where I kind of copied and pasted them around. And again, guys, if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on what you guys would like to see me, or what themes you would like me to see me tackle for the next video. But back onto what we were working here is I wanted to build one more extra house to kind of give us a little bit more variety, change it up a little bit, try to incorporate a little bit more of that dark oak. However, I'm still a little torn on the dark oak. I felt like everything else matched really well. The dark oak was just very vibrant, and it just kind of popped out a little bit more than anticipated. So if we ever come back to this build, I think I might try to minimize how much dark oak is actually used and trying to use maybe a more lighter color. I think that would probably look better than the dark oak. But anyways, we're gonna jump into a little time lapse here, guys, of exploring what we had for the finished product, and I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.